So the stock market, of course, is closed today. It's Labor Day. But if you want to talk about financial instruments or news, there's this new crypto coin getting some attention. It's backed by the Trump family, now open for trading. See Eric Trump there. Scott Melker joins us. Scott, an investor, analyst, and host of the Wolf of All Streets podcast. Good to see you, Scott. The thing about these coins, fans of the president might say, well, this is so, I want to get into this. I'm a big fan of the president. And I said, well, this sounds risky to me. How does it sound to you?
Well, I would say that the Trump meme coin launch was the riskiest version of this, obviously, and we saw what happened there, a massive pump up to about a $60 billion market cap and then a drop. World Liberty Financial has been teased for roughly a year. The pre-sale of these early tokens and their operations began almost an entire year ago. So this is a bit different, and I think that they're trying to build something with real utility, real promise, and real value for this token. They've had very transparent investments in a number of tokens. People have tracked pretty famously their ETH holdings on the way down. That said, this is obviously insider controlled. They own the bulk of the tokens and control the bulk of the market. So it'll be interesting to see how this proceeds. As of right now, it's been definitely an underwhelming launch of spot listing. It pumped over 40 cents, I think, and now last I checked, down to about 21 cents. Also important to note that this has actually been openly trading on futures markets since early last week. So there was some price discovery before today.
Okay, Don Jr. and Eric are behind this. You mentioned pumping. This article we have, Easier to Pump, is the headline on it about the crypto coin backed by Trump opening up for trading. And the background, which you were getting into here from Bloomberg, the Trump family spent the last year rolling out a suite of crypto products and ventures, from a dollar peg stablecoin to Bitcoin mining, digital asset funds. Each has extended this family brand into a new quarter of speculative finance. Since returning to the White House, Trump has signed a law governing stablecoins and appointed regulators that are friendly to digital assets, while his sons have turned the family business toward a flurry of crypto ventures. So in other words, this is their thing now, especially Don Jr. and Eric. But to your point, it hasn't exactly been a roaring quote-unquote success. May have made them a lot of money, but why has this so far been underwhelming, this particular offering?
I think it's underwhelming, but it's only the first day that these coins have hit the market. It's also, as you mentioned, Labor Day in the United States. I think that a lot of people are away from their terminals, not paying attention, and any institutional investor or trader who would be looking at this is obviously sitting on the beach in the Hamptons for the last day of summer. So I think it's hard to extrapolate much, and I do think that this will probably do exceptionally well. That said, this is one of those situations where a lot of tokens were unlocked today. That's where the liquidity comes from, and those people clearly decide to take profit. You look back at the pre-sale, I believe it was October 15th, 2024. The first round of tokens were sold at, I believe, 1.5 cents, the second round at 5 cents. So even trading at 21 cents, that's a huge boon for early investors. And they're the ones that have to make this market by having buyers and sellers for there to be a market at all. So the mechanics kind of dictated the fact that if there's not a lot of people sitting here watching this, that it's going to sell off a bit. That said, I thought this would be the Super Bowl of altcoin launches. We'd see a ton more liquidity and a lot more interest because of what we did see with the meme coin, which launched late on a Friday night when nobody knew it was coming.
Yeah, so let me ask you it this way. If you get off the beach and you want to invest in it, what are you investing in here? How would you describe it to someone? Like, what are they want to put their money into this? What are they investing in, and what's the risk?
Well, there's a huge problem with tokens, if we're being quite honest, and why I've always believed that there's Bitcoin and everything else, and not that everything else is a problem, but these are speculative venture capital tech investments, because it's very unclear, unlike a stock, where the value actually accrues, where the income that the company makes goes to. For example, you can have a very successful company making a ton of money, but if that value doesn't somehow trickle down to the actual token holders in some form, then they're basically just taking a lottery ticket bet on the success of the company, determined by unknown unlock schedules and price discovery and speculation. So it's been a bit murky and unclear as to how the value of the token will be driven. We know that the token in theory gives you some voting rights and governance over how the project will advance into the future. But I think it's a bit confusing, so there is some risk. That said, you have to imagine that from a speculation perspective, if you do want to speculate, betting on something that the president has some control over and certainly has a passion for from the legislative and regulatory side could be a good bet.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.